Awesome. Hi there, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. And whether it's your evening or your afternoon, it's going pretty great. I know we're a little delayed, so I promise I'll try to keep my short talk and keep a lot of time for questions at the end. But before we get started, let me give you a little bit more description about me beyond my TI-84 calculator days. So I started off as a full stack developer at IBM Cloud, and then I moved into DevRel and worked with developer marketing and ecosystem marketing at DigitalOcean. And then now I moved into Tayugo, where I do full-time DevRel management and we serve for tools for over 2 million developers. So it's a pretty cool thing. And a fun fact about me, beyond all the tech stuff, I've traveled to over 30 plus countries and I'm looking forward to doing more. So, enough about me. Let's get into what we're all here about today, and that is CKEditor. So, CKEditor is not just another rich text editor that you're going to come across, right? So, if you've tinkered on a blog post that use Drupal, or you've worked with some kind of app like Agreement that allows for collaboration, or you've used an LMS platform that has collaboration capabilities within that editing space, you've most likely come across CKEditor because it really is the power tool behind real-time collaboration. And we have a lot of other customers, just to not name drop, but also name dropping, behind this kind of powerhouse of editing, like Salesforce, IBM, Disney, and Pfizer, who also use CKEditor's tools for a variety of purposes. So, what I really want you to take away at the end of this is rich text editor is not just about putting words on a page. It really is about the intersection at CK for content creation and collaboration. So now let's get a little bit more technical. So CKEditor thrives on rich text features. It has some media integrations, and the real beauty of it is it has real-time collaborative editing, which is a very hard thing to kind of bring to life if you've ever tried to kind of code that on your own. It also has a modular architecture and highly customizable plugins. So it has an API which you can use to customize your own plugins, which means that anything that you want to do with this editor is a plugin. And I'll kind of get into that a little later, but just keep in mind that it's highly customizable. You can change the look and feel to exactly your customer's use case, which is extremely powerful if you have an application that has a specific use case or an LMS platform where you want it to fit, sort of the specific learning experience for your students or audience. So while I'm talking about this, how does this fit with Vue.js? Well, what's really important to know is that CKEditor does is very compatible with Vue.js, and it does support the framework in the sense that whether you're working with you have an app on Vue.js 3 or Vue.js 2, you will be able to use CKEditor 5 with that. So when integrating with Vue.js 2 apps, we have considered all of the architectural differences between the 2 and 3 versions, including how CKEditor 5 would interact with Vue's 2's options API or its reactivity system. And CKEditor 5 also seamlessly at the same time interacts with Vue 3's new reactivity system to enhance performance and user experience. So the installation process is pretty simple. If you go to our docs and look up Vue.js and CKEditor, you'll see that you can directly install it, npm install. You can use some bundlers. There's custom builds. There's source integrations. You can also use ESX6 models. So it's pretty standard installation for a component. And some of the bells and whistles, if you're a Vue developer, it does work well with component directives. You can work really well with event management within Vue.js. And localization is surprisingly, and I've texted this, it's surprisingly pretty great with Vue.js. So it's really, really powerful tool, and you can really use it pretty seamlessly with your Vue.js app. Now, I talked about this editor that fits into this Vue.js app, but what does it really offer, right? So in CKEditor, think of everything as a plugin, right? from typing your text to using the clipboard to bold, italics, and underline to having our new AI assistant, which I will talk about later, everything is a plugin. And because everything is so modular and everything's a plugin, it means that you have various types of plugins for different purposes. Some handle new features like tables, the image handling, text formatting, and others offer integration like your AI assistant or importing from a Word document or PDF, or exporting to a PDF. Um, and the other thing that's really important is that these plugins are what really enhance the functionality, and we have so many of them. I'm just listing like probably the top 5 or 10 off the top of my head, but there are so many to use. And let me, and that's why if you don't know what to pick and choose, we've actually put together some of the popular plugins for you in this thing called a productivity pack. So in this productivity pack, you will see things like slash commands, which is basically a feature that allows users to command the editor using keyboard shortcuts. So you type in a slash key, and then there's like a drop down menu that drops down, and then you can do quick access to block elements like tables, images, as well as various heading styles. So this feature can be customized to include very specific commands and styles, and it's very powerful, and we've noticed a lot of people like to use that alongside with things like templates, which is very popular, or paste from Office, which is kind of ensuring that if you are copying something from Microsoft Word or Excel, there's a very smooth transition of copy paste, and it's not, the formatting is not completely off. And a format painter, document outline, and more. So this productivity pack is something where if you don't know what plugins you want, um, we have kind of put together, bundled together something based just on popularly, if someone's using this for a commercial purpose, these are the plugins they most likely would need. Now, on top of that, we also have other plugins that are very popular amongst our users, like export to PDF, export to Word, which you wouldn't imagine like a traditional rich text editor to be able to do. We also have import from Word, which is really powerful because if you have a document, you would just want to import it, pretty seamless to do that as well. Now, the next really big thing on top of like these basic editing features is what CKEditor is probably known for widely, which is collaboration. So when I talk about collaboration, the simplest way to think about it is to think of Google Docs like writing experience within your own application for your users. So the idea is it centralizes content and review processes like tracking changes, right? You see that image with the yellow, the red, and the green, you can know who changed what. Things like comments, just like Google Docs, where you can leave comments and track down changes. The comment functionality also offers the ability to add, edit, and manage discussions. And then you have revision history, which offers the capability to manage document versions and compare and restore different versions. So it's really that Google Doc-like experience. But the cherry on top for me is the real-time capability, right? You, of course, have the option to keep your editor asynchronous, but you also have the option to have real-time collaborative editing, which is very powerful because just like Google Docs, multiple users can sit in this rich text editor, edit, review, and discuss the same document simultaneously. And this sort of interaction offers that sense of collaboration or team engagement that your users might want, or that's perfect for your application. And it's great for instant feedback or project and decision making. So really cool use case and very powerful. And believe it or not, all of this is just another plugin. So it's very simple to sort of bring that capability into your own application. And the last feature, but certainly not the least, and one of the popular, more recent features that we released was the AI assistant. So the AI assistant is, imagine having basically the power of, well, everyone knows of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT inside your rich text editor. So basically provides a way to boost creativity and the use of AI. And let me first talk about like that little image that is going on within the slides. So you can see that there's a user MC, and they're kind of typing away in the background a title, and then the user UP just selected a text and said, "Hey, can you translate this for me? I don't understand it." And then they're hitting enter, and they were able to quickly translate it while the other user is, actually typing away the future fiction narrative from fantasy to robots title. So I think that's really powerful that not only do you have just an AI assistant, you are also able to work on this text editor with a bunch of text with another user at the same time, and you can scale up as well. Now, the AI assistant is not just ChatGPT, right? We recognize that, especially as enterprises and as you scale, your editor needs to scale with you, your business needs to scale with you. So, CKEditor actually offers support for the top three leading platforms today, I would say, which is OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, as well as Amazon Bedrock. So and to clarify, we don't kind of host any of the data. If you want to use this, you simply have a proxy endpoint, point to that and then have your proxy endpoint sort of communicate with Azure AI, Amazon, AWS Bedrock, or OpenAI. So it's you using your own model for your use case that will best serve your users. And we're kind of providing this UI wrapper on top of that to make sure that experience is seamless, to make sure it works well with our existing plugins as well. So yeah, that is sort of the gist of what the AI assistant is. And truly, the big takeaway is that there's so much more down the pipeline for the AI assistant. I would say, it's very much just scratched the surface of what this assistant can do. We've already seen ChatGPT 4 with Dolly and stuff being able to generate images. Maybe we can start putting images into this rich text editor, right? Maybe you can have a conversation with the AI on top of just having pre-written and customizable prompts. And maybe you can even like analyze a given imported document. So there's so much more down the pipeline for what you can do when AI meets collaboration. And it's just extremely powerful and extremely simple to get started with. So that is kind of my spiel on CKEditor 5. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to learn more about us, we've launched our Discord. We would love for you to join. And we have an opportunity for you to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So just go to vuejsnation.com/swag. You should be able to find us, and there is all the steps to enter our giveaway. So I hope to see some of you there on our Discord. And if you have any other technical questions, my colleague and is also in the chat. His name is PK or Pietrek, and he's the director of engineering and CKEditor 5 project leader. He has over 10 years of experience with rich text editors. So please use him as a resource as well if you have any other questions in the chat. If not, I believe it's time for our Q&A.
I love that you have a slide for it. And also, there was just so much good detail on your entire presentation that I'm like, okay, all the questions too. Okay. To start, and I'm just going to say this as a clarification since it was asked, it can help people with can TinyMCE help with help users overcome writer's block or oh wait, I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
We are both rich text editors. I will clarify that. Both TinyMC, I'm the DevRel manager for both TinyMC and CK. So I can answer that question.
Oh,
But since this is a CK
that's
talk,
funny.
I'm happy to stay put with CK questions.
How does CKE editor track changes within documents?
Is that a question about like how the track changes works by itself, or so
Yeah, like
basically?
yeah.
Okay, so as from my understanding, and PK, feel free to drop by in the comments, but the track changes feature is essentially a plugin. And what it does is you can set it up to identify suggestions. You can set it up to track if which user has inserted like a comment. Maybe some user has deleted a change, so you can use that as either a standalone plugin, or you can also build it into your real-time collaboration. So the way it works is just like any other plugin, just like you're installing your AI assistant, you're installing your auto save functionality, you have auto formatting in CK Editor. It's just like any other plugin. That's how it works.
Cool. Thank you. Can users upload images straight to the editor?
So there is capability to upload. So there's different ways in which images work in CK Editor. So one of the basic things is, yes, you can copy paste an image, but there's also this plugin, as I said, to be able to insert an image, upload an image, resize or style an image, add captions to it, add links out. So there's different ways in which you can actually work with image. And yes, you can upload it, but of course, there's also plugins that you can use to do that.
Sweet. Thank you. All right. And real-time collaboration. Is that
Yes.
possible?
Yes, if I haven't over talked about that, it is absolutely possible, and it's probably one of the biggest advantages for CK Editor. We have the cutting edge technology for real time collaboration that has been trusted by several enterprises, and it has scaled as well.
Yay.
So yeah, we absolutely have real time collaboration.
Cool, because that totally led into the next question, which, if someone is using it, do you host the broadcasting on your web server, or does this have to have like a specific server set up for it?
So I think the question is the question more along the lines of um like, is it on-prem or hosted
That's
elsewhere,
kind of what I
or
was taking because it's if somebody has to host it themselves, or do is it hosted by CK Editor? But if
um s- okay, yes, so I believe the answer to that question is, if you're doing let's say you're doing real-time collaboration, then you typically would host like your application by yourself. And remember that CK Editor is a component that comes onto your application. So if the question is, are you hosting the application? Then yes, you would be hosting the application. But if you do use something like CK Editor Cloud, then some of that functionality, the functionality behind the real-time collaboration would be stored on our servers. So you
very cool.
basically do REST API calls that will allow you to do that.
Awesome, thank you. And does CK Editor 5 use Mirror under the hood?
No, we do not use Prospera under the hood. We've, I believe, built CK Editor 5 is, I don't want to say older off the top of my head, but it's been around for at least 20 years as an open source project and has seen many phases, such as CK Editor 4 and more.
All right. Next question in regarding the AI assistant. If someone has a company which has over 1,000 users, is there an additional cost to it? Is it just a feature that's already in there? Like, do you have ideas around this question?
Around the cost, so the way the AI assistant works is that, yes, there is a cost to have the plugin. It's part of the premium features. But is there a cost based on how many queries you make to that AI? That's all dependent on what API key and what AI endpoint you provide. So if you decide to provide OpenAI's endpoint with forward slash completions, and you provide your API key, then it's all based on what their pricing looks like.
Awesome. Thank you. And does it make sense to use it in an app to customize an email order to have an AI assistant help with a nice commercial email?
I think so. I really think so. Today that AI assistant, you might have noticed it had like a preset list of prompts that you can choose from, and then it had like a custom dialog box. But tomorrow, I can even see that AI assistant taking like a preset email and like a templated email and helping you fill out that template. So one of our popular demos that I like to do is just show how customizable it is. And in that custom dialog box, I would just be like, write a custom email announcing the launch of this AI assistant. And it actually, in HTML format, will print out that email for me.
That's pretty sweet. And another question in regards to the multi-user collaboration, you caught a lot of people's interest with this. Who handles the users? Where is the document stored? How does it work in terms of networking between users, instances, and the app using CK Editor?
Okay, that's a lot, lot of questions for one
I
question. Let
would
me take
could
it
you
one.
maybe start us off with if somebody was like doesn't have a project or anything, how would they create it? And then like if you created something, how would you add me to it to be able to collaborate?
Okay, so the question is how would I create the project? The simple answer again is if you are creating CK editor collaboration, like the component itself, uh, what you would do is essentially, okay, I'm back again. So if you were gonna create CK editor's collaboration, you would essentially turn it on as a plugin. It only works with a certain set of configurations within CKEditor 5. And once you have it on, you can actually provide a link specifically to, just like Google Doc application. If you have two web application instances and you're going to the same page, it will automatically add another user to that same page if you have real-time collaboration turned on.
Very cool. And so that talks a bit more about like the multi-user um
Collaboration
who
work.
yeah, and then the handles the users because if do you have to have a login for the users or does it create just a like an anonymized user so that way they just have access to it? Do you know? I feel like this is a very complicated question, so we might have to go back to it, but also my curiosity, I'm like, huh.
Okay, no, it's a great question. I would say if so again, it really depends on how they're setting this app up. If they have set it up with something like, okay, you can assign users and you can know which specific users. In our demo applications, you'll probably see random anonymized users, and I get where the confusion is stemming from. Um, and when I had a meetup recently, and I was showing this demo, a lot of people had that same question: is it anonymous? And it's like, no, you can have specific users and control that kind of use case. But um, as far as how that works, it depends on, okay, where in the application are you storing it? Have you given these sort of users permission? Have you assigned users? And is there a connection between your component and that real-time collaboration? So it is a plug and play system where yes, you can plug in collaborative rich text editing into CK Editor 5, But it also means that, it, it really depends on how you're assigning the roles or not assigning the roles.
I feel like now I just need to go follow you on all the social media so I can be like, okay, when there is one, I'm just going to go watch and find out more. This is exciting. Thank you. But that
Yes.
was our last question for today, and greatly appreciate you joining us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you have any more questions, again, as I said, feel free to drop a hi to us on our Discord. PK, my colleague, is also there on the Discord. He's been in this business for over 10 years. He can also answer even more questions. If you're on CK Editor 5 and you want to find out more, just hit us up.